We all know that COVID absolutely decimated school children and the progress that any student was making learning. We all know that it was a terrible, terrible time. We know that Trump, Florida, Republican governors were the ones that were pushing to reopen immediately. Some people were saying to open schools back up as early as April of 2020. Now, the president of AFT is going to lie on national TV and say that, oh, she wanted schools to reopen right away. That's not what she wanted. And that's why she's crying. Whenever she says, everyone's so mad about this, who's mad about it is people with cushy jobs with fancy six-figure salaries that don't even have to interact with children, don't teach them anything, don't deal with any of the daily struggles that teachers have to deal with. Let's slash it. Let's cut the money from all these bureaucrats and give it to the teachers, the ones that have to suffer through with these children every single day trying to force them to learn. And let's actually teach them. But let's see her squirming live first. She and her friends did not want the schools to reopen because they wanted their same salaries to sit at home and work in pajamas. And that's just the goddamn truth. Let's hear her lie.
School closures, that's one of the big examples. And that has fueled a lot of animus towards the Department of Education, towards teachers' unions. Do you reflect on that? I mean, what are you taking away from that in the position that that may have fueled sort of the support that allows President Trump to be in a position to do something that you find so problematic, like eliminating the Department of Education in all intents and purposes?
So, Brianna, COVID was a terrible time for us. And as you know, because I was on your show a lot and other shows, I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
Now, the article is up on the screen. She just said she wanted schools open as early as April of 2020. Let's hear it one more time, and then hear what she really said.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020. The issue was the fear and the issue was the safety issues. But COVID has really hurt in so many ways. But this has been a Republican talking point for a long time. And
flashback.
Members of that 25,000-strong union voted in the majority to stay at home for at least another 2 days to defy Chicago Public Schools' orders to return to the classroom. Does the AFT stand 100% behind the Chicago union?
So, of course, we stand 100% behind the Chicago Union.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
Is this school year probably not going to have full school openings?
Well, so I'm glad you asked that question, Chuck, because what does full school opening mean? If you do 6 feet of physical distancing, you're essentially saying in a school you're going to have about 50% or 60% of people in there at any one time, not 100%.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
When and how are we getting our students, our children, back into those classrooms full time?
So, full time is going to depend upon what's going on with physical distancing and what's going on with the variants.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
And I just hope this is not a rush to put in twice as many deaths in a place where we're really starting to get things reopened.
I'm surprised to hear you think that this is a rush.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
The American Federation of Teachers president Randy Weingarten says the union is reserving judgment for now.
Why not trust the CDC's guidance?
We have to figure out in all these schools right now, which have been set up for 6 feet physical distancing, how this is going to work.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
You're going to have everyone back in September, 100% in class 5 days a week?
I hope so. I would hope that Fox would be just as focused on let's get rid of the misinformation about what happened in this election. This election was free.
Come on, Randy. Come on. This is not the topic that we're here to talk about.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
Why not tomorrow? I mean, literally, why not tomorrow? If 90% of your teachers are vaccinated, if we know what we know now, why not just go back to school in person tomorrow?
Well, frankly, 97% of the schools are open for in-person learning.
Not 5 days a week.
About 60% of them are. The real key right now is that about 2/3 of our parents, particularly Black and brown parents, don't trust it.
I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020.
You recently pushed back on the CDC's new social distancing guidelines for schools from 6 feet to 3. Why?
Because, because trust is...
Don't start telling me I'm Islamophobic.
Be more articulate when you speak to the children.
Yes, sir. I will make better mouth.
Depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things. All the things. All the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA. To preserve our democracy, we must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA.
So that was Becky Pringle, the president of the largest teachers union in the United States, the NEA. As she was saying, and what was she doing? Was she giving a rally on improving test scores and the kids in Chicago being able to read now instead of killing each other? She was celebrating scores and no, she was talking about preserving democracy. What's she talking about? Anyway, make the kids smarter, Becky. Won't you work on that? Could you imagine why they're not doing so great? And then the other one is just straight up lying through her teeth on national TV, and she runs the second largest teachers union in the United States. How come these people are crying about losing their jobs? I wonder why they're losing their jobs. Then you have the other lady. She's the second largest teacher union in America. That's the president. And she's just a stone cold liar. She went on TV and said, now she says she wanted schools to be open right away as early as April 2020. We just showed you all the clips, man, that she's lying. That's not what she said. She fought it the entire time. She fought these teachers going back to school so these kids could learn the entire time. So if that's leading the unions of all the teachers and administrators, why do you think the kids aren't doing real well? Is it because all of these activists that have infiltrated the Department of Education and all the layers of academia that are disgusting? This trend continues at the university level. I didn't really talk about it too much because it's really off topic a little bit, but I had a graph set up too for the top 20 endowed universities as well that have the administrators are through the roof. The money they spend on administration is through the roof. These are people that for a lot of times are not teaching classes. They're not doing anything. They're not teaching children anything. They're not teaching the college kids anything. They're not teaching it's the whole thing, man. It's K through 12 plus the universities. It's that bad. The activist infiltration into academia, it has to be gutted out. I showed you all the graphs. Money does not equal better test scores, does not equal an education. Throwing money at this, throwing money in a furnace does not help it. It's time to try something different. Any of the claims that say Trump doesn't want an educated population is laughable because you don't have an educated population now, and they're not doing a great job. And he's doing something different, giving it back to the states.